please state your name for the record. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per individual out of respect for the time of all present at the meeting. This is not a time to raise personnel issues. To avoid violations of individual rights of privacy, please do make comments referencing any student, staff member, or member of the general public. Does anyone have any public comment at this time? Board? Admin? Public? Okay. So now we will move on to our interview of school board member candidates for an open position. You should have in front of you our set of questions. We will be interviewing both candidates at the same time. Each candidate will have an opportunity to respond to the same question, and we will rotate turns on who gets to answer the question first. For fairness, in this manner, trustees can determine who responds to each question, and the questions will be read in order, starting with myself and then rotating through. So just because you're on this side of me, Chris, you get the first one.
Okay.
So tell us about yourself and your pathway and rationale in deciding to apply to be on the school board.
Yeah. So I run a construction business around the state of Montana and do a lot of work for school districts all over the state of Montana. Its primary client base is K-12 schools. So I have a lot of comparables to our district. I have 2 children, actually 1 now. One recent graduate of Stevensville High School and soon to be junior this next year at the high school. So I look at condition of our school and the opportunities that our school offers and compare that to what I see around the state. And I spend a lot of time with schools helping them with bonds and things like that, and I see some of the challenges that we've had as a district getting bonds passed, and my past time spent with the board, I came in to help with the kind of the construction project as we were right in the middle of that, and lend some of my expertise to that. I think seeing our challenges with bonds, I really want to get engaged and do what I can. I think I've seen success of schools in passing bonds, and I know what it takes to go do that, and I think that I can help guide and help leverage some of those experiences for us to help potentially move some bonds forward. And I know or levies, bonds, kind of same thing. But so I'd like to engage with that, and want to see this school be the best and do the best for our kids. Especially selfishly my son, but also the kids that live in this community deserve the best. So.
Awesome, thank you.
You bet.
Tracy, same question. Tell us about yourself and your pathway and rationale in deciding to apply to be on the school board.
Sure. Well, I was in public education for more than 28 years, and I have kind of been in all the positions, from starting out as a para through substituting and teaching and administration. I was part of the teachers union. I was the president of the teachers union for many years in Helena. Had 2 kids that went to school here. Both are in their 20s and out of the house. I can't believe your son's going to be a junior. And I'm currently working at the Burnt Fork Veterinary Clinic. See a lot of the same families there that I saw here. And it's been 2 years since I've been away from the school. And I feel just this piece of me that's kind of like nagging of I just feel that I want to be here and make an impact again. That's missing. Now that I have my feet under me with this whole new gig at a veterinary clinic and HR and kind of their business person, I just feel the need to be here. When the tech levy failed, I felt completely disheartened, like I was still here in the midst of it. And I just want to be back here and make an impact on education. So, yeah, I've got the time, and I want to be here.
Thank you.
Yep.
Ms. Quigley, why don't you go next?
Okay, it's funny that you picked this one for me because this is the area that is the most difficult for me. Time commitment. There is a time commitment that is required for being on the Stevensville School Board. Reading and responding to information from the district and the public, as well as other research, is part of this commitment. Tell us how you will manage your time. Tracy, you get to go first this time.
Well, I work about 30-ish hours a week at the clinic. I've already talked to the owners. One of the owners is on the committee board here, I believe, and said if I am selected, what are your thoughts on that for me being able to leave for committee meetings? And absolutely no hesitation there. With the number of hours I work, I'm free afternoons and evenings, and like I said, I don't have any kids at the house, so I would be definitely available.
Chris?
Yeah, so I don't work 30s.
I know, it feels so good.
I drove over to Bozeman and back today for meetings, so I run my own business, so I schedule my time, and the 4 years plus or minus that I spent with the board, I don't think I may have missed one meeting, so I prioritize this. That's part of the commitment is, if you're gonna do it, you gotta be here. I will make the time and I will be here and be engaged.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Nope, you're good.
But I do want a job where
Okay, so
Someday.
this question goes along with our code of ethics. It says the 1,000 policy in our school board policy book are all centered around how school board members function individually, as well as how they function as a complete school board. Policy 1511, our code of ethics for the school board members states, quote, avoid compromising the board or administration by inappropriate individual action or comments, and respect the confidentiality of information that is privileged under applicable law. How will you work to avoid compromising the board or administration by inappropriate individual action and comments? Chris?
Yeah, so a board is, part of a board is disagreement, right? The interesting thing about a board, makeup of a board, you've got a lot of different opinions, different backgrounds. But at the end of the day, when you make a decision, you make a decision as a board. I was on the board through COVID, and I'll tell you, and I know Fran, you sat out here in this audience a lot through those meetings, and there were a lot of times that the board didn't agree. I think there was actually a couple of issues where we couldn't agree. But at the end of the day, you make a decision together, and you may not have voted for that, but that's the decision of the board, and you get behind it and you support it. And that's your job as a board member, is to unite front and support what the board decides.
Thanks. Tracy?
Yeah, it's one of those positions that even as an administrator that you're in, that you have to make some really hard decisions, and not everyone's going to like it, but I think that I'm kind of a silent observer, and when I feel knowledgeable on an issue and speak to it, I feel that I'm level-headed in those decisions and very professional. And again, like, part of being that administration team for 10 years, it's like when we make a decision, we may not agree, but everybody in the room has to walk out as a team. And that's the same thing on a board, that we are a board, not individuals.
Thank you.
Tracy, for a brighter future, what do you envision would help make Stevensville the best place to work and learn? Give us your 5-year vision.
Communication and the ability to communicate in just a professional, positive manner on all fronts from each area within the district, as far as committee meetings down to, you know, kitchen work, and just building that community that builds trust. And I worked really hard at that when I was hired to take over a 4-8 building, which was new, and only one other school in Montana had that model. And that just building that community and the group of leaders that are respected and listened to and appreciated. I think that will trickle down into appreciating our staff and just building that sense of, for lack of a better word, just school community. I think rallying around, like, we have to pass this tech levy and supporting each other, being community members, and being able to be that bridge between the school and the community of all of the amazing things that are happening in the district, and trying to turn some of those naysayers that are not uneducated, but just not knowledgeable of what's happening in this district. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I think Tracy hit all the high points, honestly. I think it's the community is the thing that I see that needs to engage the school differently and be more engaged with the school and supportive of this school. I sat through an awards ceremony the night before graduation, and one of the speakers, I can't remember who he was with, but he mentioned how great that ceremony was, and that the community was, you know, had come out and was supporting, and they put it on, did it the right way. I would like to see that across everything we do. You know, tech levy, you know, we can't continue to have a school without technology. Safety levies, you know, those kinds of things are important, and somehow getting the community to understand and get behind and support the things that this school needs to be, the resources that this school needs to provide the top education that our kids deserve. You know, and that our teachers deserve when they're here trying to educate our kids. It's the most important thing that we can do for the kids that live in this community, is to get them a good education. Give them a leg up. The world's hard enough place right now, and they need that. So getting the community behind it is something that I would like to see, or getting the community more engaged and more behind the school. That's what I'd like to do.
Chris, Stevensville School Board works closely with the superintendent and business manager to build, serve, and support the work at Stevensville schools. What do you see as the role of a school board member, and how do you discern that from the role of the superintendent and admin team?
Yeah. So the school board, you know, the role of the school board is to give good direction, set basically goals for the school, and go out and provide and drive to get resources in place for the school to go achieve those goals. And then the administration's job is to go execute that. And it's the board's job to support the administration in executing that. Same thing, you know, supporting down to the teachers and how they execute that plan. It's not to get in and to micromanage, and it's not to get in and tell them, you know, how to go accomplish that. It's to set goals and allow them to go do the things that they're the professionals at doing.
Yeah. I think a board trustee is part of the board that is kind of governing everything and has that oversees like long-term and school improvement goals, and we let administration, we let superintendent guide us in that based on teacher feedback, what the teachers are asking and needing, all staff, not just teachers within the district. That should be going to superintendent, and then it would be the board's job to take their professional opinion and support that, and support our administration. Not worry about the day-to-days. That is something they carry on their shoulders, but to be able to be here as a team to support what they need and what they're asking for, knowing, being an administrator, that when you come to the board and you ask for something, they're a professional and they've thought long and hard about it before they come to you, so.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, that brings us to the end of the questions.
I think there's
Oh, I apologize.
Go flip the page.
So I guess it's back to me. So Tracy, you both have previous experience serving the district. What do you see as our district's greatest challenge? What strengths of our district do you wish the community knew more about?
Biggest challenge would probably, the first thing that came to mind is teacher retention, and then finances and how we're going to continue to balance this budget. But yeah, teacher retention has been kind of a challenge for quite a few years, and I don't think that it's necessarily something our district is doing anything wrong. I think it's a bigger picture than that. But strengths would be the incredible staff that have stuck it out and they are part of this family. I think the leadership that we have in place is doing a great job in moving things in a positive manner. I think the strengths of having this K-12 or ELP 12 community and this charter school and the ACL, and just there's so many things happening that our community needs to see.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge, it comes down to some of the resource limitations. So the community support of bonds and levies, and that's not unique only to Stevensville, but I do, as I mentioned previously, spend a lot of time with a lot of districts around the state, and I look at the support that we get from the community, and I see other districts that have totally different engagements with their communities. And so I think that's a challenge that as a board, we have to figure out how to unlock or turn around and get the community more engaged with the school. I think if the community were to see the things that this school does with the resources that we have, they'd come away impressed. I mean, I know the education that my daughter got from some of the fabulous teachers here, and that, just what they did for her was great. I think with a little bit more support, we could do even more. I already said the strength, but I think it's the staff of people that we have here. It's, some of the teachers that we have here. We're losing a couple good ones this year, again, from retirements and things like that, but we still have a really strong core, and we need to figure out how to attract some of the up-and-coming younger people to learn from that strong core, to replicate what they've done, to continue on, because it is going to be a challenge to pass levies and bonds and provide the resources that they deserve, but we do a lot with what we have, so.
Thank you.
All right, let's see, Chris, you're the first up on this one. Decision-making process. Being on a school board means that you will have to process and make difficult decisions, sometimes among strong opposing viewpoints within the board and community. Tell us how you would navigate decision-making and conflict resolution as a trustee.
Yeah, you guys have maybe all heard this before, but number one is the kids. So, that's what I'm gonna weigh my decisions on is it the right thing for all of the kids in this district? And does it support kids? Does it detract from, our mission? But, it's gotta be for the kids. And then it's gotta, second kind of criteria is it supporting the staff that's taking care of our kids? And if it doesn't fit into those two categories, it probably isn't all that important.
Yeah, that, what Chris said. Yeah, I mean, for 30-some years, that's been my focus, is what students need, and that's why I'm back here, sitting where I am right now. But, yeah, my decisions are based on students and staff, and then the whole campus, like it's hard to look past that. You've got to start with the kids.
Next question is about building community. How would you work to build community engagement with our district?
Yeah, I've thought a lot about that, and like I said earlier tonight, I feel like that is a piece that our community is missing, and I believe that the information needs to come from the kids. We need to do activities and things here that the kids are encouraging families to come and support them, because 90% of our kids love it here. And if we can get their voice heard and get them to bring in community members, I think that's a start.
You know, some of the same, and then I think, you know, leveraging like our CTE building and getting connections with business, getting connections with, you know, the businesses that they may go work with, or they could go learn from, internship opportunities. You know, I know we've got our, you know, health education, you know, program that we're standing up, and I think, you know, more of that to connect to community businesses, not just be out asking businesses for donations for things and those kinds of things, but to you know, create an education program that serves and provides them employees of the future. You know, more of that, I think.
Thank you.
Okay. So Chris, public schools have a finite budget. How would you evaluate budget priorities with limited funding to best serve students?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to, you know, if it isn't, you've got to get the core things down, right? And so you got to start with the core things, and you need to attract students. So, you know, it's all about the education for the kids. So every decision needs to be weighed on, you know, is it the best dollar going the furthest for the kids? And, you know, that's a really hard thing to do when, you know, you're talking about cutting teachers and you're talking about, you know, cutting programs and all those kinds of things. But, you know, yeah, you have to have a prioritization of the basics, and then the want-to-haves and the nice-to-haves are the things that you look at maybe not making the cut. So.
Yeah, prioritizing what you're spending and how that is impacting students. So if items that need to be cut, we have to look at how is that going to impact students, and then how is that going to impact staff, and look at all areas to see, like Chris said, just prioritizing those, because when you're cutting and you know, chopping things because we don't have the funding, that's prioritization of students and staff is I think what needs to be looked at first. Yeah, it's definitely not an easy task.
This would be Tracy. On advocating, telling the story of the district is all our jobs. How will you advocate for the school district?
I still kind of do it on a daily basis at the vet clinic. I mean, even a few minutes ago, I caught myself saying, like, our students. Like, it's just, I moved to Stevensville 14 years ago to be part of this school, and I still am. Took me a bit to transition after retiring from here, but I think that I had an incredible experience here. Was everything great? No. COVID was a nightmare. The administrators and I that were working during that time spent an entire summer figuring out how to manage a school during COVID. Like, but it's, like you said, it's a story, and it's a great place to be. My kids loved it here. My son spoke highly of teachers that got him ready for college, and I just tell my story. It's a good place to be.
Yeah, probably a little bit of the same, I guess. The unique thing about this board, you know, it's not back to kind of the backgrounds, people from different walks of life, different backgrounds. You know, the group of people that I associate with, I guess Billy and I kind of associate with some of the same, you know, but the people that you associate with, I think as a board member, it's your job to represent what the district is doing, all the great things, the kids, all the, you know, awards, the amount of like scholarships that the kids are getting and the achievements of the kids. And I think, you know, if you're not interested in kids and talking about the kids in our district and being excited about what they've accomplished and what they can accomplish, you know, you probably shouldn't be on a board, right? And so I think that's that's what I did in the past, and that's what I would do, you know, if I was back on the board again, so.
Okay, now I believe.
Is there not a second sheet?
We are at the end of the questions. Mr. Conan, do you wanna
Sure.
let us know what
Next
our
steps.
next steps are?
Sure. Next steps, taking a couple minutes here just to go back through your notes. And then we will have a discussion from each person, and then we'll vote after that. We'll continue to keep voting until we get a majority vote. So if we have 7 people here, so it looks like we will obviously can't have a tie. But if there was a tie, we would continue voting, going back to another vote until we broke a tie. So we can choose who well, let you guys look at your notes for a little bit, and then we will have each candidate or each board member have a discussion.
Do we need a nomination to begin the voting?
Last time when Skip was, we just went with, since there's only 2, we just
Okay,
went with the vote.
okay.
Are you gonna take public comment?
Yep.
So open floor for comment and discussion. Starting with the board, I know I'd like to thank both of you for being here. I think you're both amazing, and what you bring to the school, and the time of time you served, both of you, is amazing. I'm not quite sure how we make this decision, but I'm looking forward to listening to what everyone else has to say. So I'll stop with that.
I guess I'm with Jennifer, I wish one of you sucked a little more. Because you both would be awesome on here, and I appreciate you coming and being willing to offer your time, because it is a time commitment, and not just a time commitment, but it's a mental commitment too, because even when you're not here doing things, it's, you know, hopefully you are still carrying it around a little bit, and so there is that as well. And I know that both of you would do great at doing that.
That's education.
Yep.
So for years, I sat where you guys are sitting and saw a lot of people just come on the board. So the one thing that I really appreciate is that both of you threw your hat in, because it makes it a lot better for our community when we have choices to make, even though you've made it a hard choice for us. It's, in my opinion, it's better that we're making a choice rather than someone just going straight on the board. And so I appreciate the opportunity that you give us as a board to be able to make a choice and to choose. I just wish, like Billy said, that, you know, one of y'all could have just been awful or something. That would make it easier for us.
I yeah, it was great. I'm new to this, so I'm still figuring this all out myself, but I appreciate both of your guys' answers.
I'm pretty new too, so but I'm learning fast and I'm a bit slow-witted at times, and the learning curve is humongous. And my observation between your comments is that it's probably prompted more questions for us than just one just sticks in my mind right there. You mentioned, Chris, was it trying to keep people interested in the students. We all know that the community is more interested in no tax increases than they are in students, and that's a tough hurdle to get past. So I don't have an answer for that. So, but I think you both have been very interesting listening to all the comments.
It's a huge hurdle to get past, I think.
Sorry?
It's a huge hurdle
Yeah.
that somehow has to get overcome.
Yeah.
In general, it's just across the state, it's a huge
Oh,
hurdle.
yeah. Except across this side of the state.
Well, in
Apparently on
part,
that side
considering,
of the state, they got a lot of levies passed.
well, but they also have different funding, opportunities and and I work over on that left-hand side of the state a lot, and it's different funding opportunities that don't exist in western Montana. The burden on the taxpayer in western Montana because of the lack of industry becomes a bigger deal. And that's why, you can kind of watch and see what's gonna pass and what's not gonna pass. But it's, you gotta get the communities to look forward, and you can't just keep putting your head in the sand and saying no, because eventually, there's gonna be too many things that have to get cut. So, it's hard.
Stephanie, did you want to make any comments?
I do. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. I guess before I do that, the fairness person in me wants to say Chris just got a little extra turn to talk. Tracy, do you want to respond to that? Just as everything
No, nothing I can think of. Thanks, Steph.
Sorry, Tracy, I didn't mean to.
I guess my comments are that I feel very fortunate that we have both of your guys' responses were so insightful, and you have so much clarity and integrity and merit. That's the foundation that we have that both of you have in common. So we're so fortunate to have both of you guys as candidates. So I think for me, what I'm trying to vet out, I guess usually when it comes down to two candidates, I'm like, okay, who talks about supporting staff and students more? But you guys also have that in common. So another incredible attribute. So what's going to come down to me and what I'm trying to process in this moment is the things that you guys don't have in common are your histories and your skill sets. So what do we as a board need? What's going to be the best fit for where we're at right now? So and I said this last time because we knew we were going to have a seat coming up, but if for either of you, if you, the one that doesn't get seated tonight, I would hope you would consider us in the future, because I really appreciate how you're looking at public education and advocacy for our students and staff right now. So thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Stephanie. Tony, would you like to make a comment?
Not at this time, thank you.
Thanks. Public comment.
I wrote it down this time so I would be more fluent. I strongly recommend Chris to serve on the school board. Having previously served on the board, he brings valuable experience and a clear understanding of the challenges and opportunities facing our schools. As a parent with a student currently in the school system, he remains directly connected to the needs of the students, families, and educators. During his prior tenure on the board, I found him to be reliable, thoughtful, and level-headed in addressing the many issues that came to the board. He consistently approached decisions with fairness, sound judgment, and the commitment of the best interest of the school community. His experience, steady leadership, and dedication to public education make him an excellent choice for our school board.
Thank you, Vicki. Any other public comment? Do we want to call for just a vote or nomination?
Any other comment back from the board, and then we'll call for a vote, yeah.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, then we will go into a vote.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Previously, when we've done this, it's been a motion, that someone has made a motion nominating a specific person. Is that the way we're doing it, or?
Well, we did it both ways. When Skip went, they just said a name, they voted a name in, with Skip and Chris the last time, so.
I think we had a nomination. We had a
There was
nomination,
a nomination, yes.
and then
Okay.
we all voted aye, or not aye. Do we want to take a nomination?
I'm just asking, so
Sure.
we know
Let's
which
do it.
direction we're going.
Take a nomination.
Okay, Skip.
I'd like to nominate Chris for the position of the school board trustee.
I'll second.
Motion by Skip, seconded by Billy. So I'll take votes. Fran,
Yay. Yes.
Billy,
Aye.
I vote aye.
Aye.
Skip.
Aye.
And Stephanie,
Aye.
Tony, how do you vote?
I'll vote aye.
Could you,
Aye.
that was aye.
Aye.
That was unanimous then. Chris, welcome to the school board again.
Thanks for having me.
Tracy, thank you,
Yep.
and like Stephanie
Absolutely.
said,
Yeah, no.
please keep coming back,
Yep.
because,
In May, we will have 4, come when it's time again, we will have 4 open spots.
Wow.
That will open up in January for next June. So we'll have 4 spots open.
Wow. Yeah, all right, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. When I saw your name, I was like, you're kidding me.
congratulations, Chris. And we're gonna take a short break while you complete your oath of office.
We may have to break it up a little bit. Shelby is not here yet to do the notarizing. Notarizing.
Yeah, good to see you.
Me too.
Yeah, but I can do the oath of office.
Okay,
And then we're gonna take a short break and be ready to roll into our
Okay.
next. Okay, are you ready for this? Yeah. Okay. You're gonna say, I do, right? I do, okay. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Montana, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity, so help me God. Okay, and then I will, when Shelby is here, I will have her, yep, I will sign it, and then when Stephanie gets here, she will also sign it, and then we'll do the notarizing piece. I also have for you tonight, so you're going to sit on. It's fine, yeah, so you have that piece of it too for you tonight, and then you will be by Billy and Frank. Yes, thank you, Chris. Yay.
so I
We still
will
have your plaques.
call the
I've never been
meeting
on this side of the table.
back to order.
We've always been on opposite.
Oh my God, say I have to bang to gavel.
Oh, I wouldn't count on me.
Can I get a motion to adjourn this special meeting of the Stevensville School Board?
So moved.
Second? Is there a second? Okay, motion by Billy, seconded by Fran. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.